5 minutes, meaning one game away from capturing another NBA championship. What are the Boston Celtics going to do? What are they going to do? I have no idea, just like I have no idea what the hell Top Gun is doing with that crew cut right there. It remains to be seen. I mean, I saw him in studio. He's got the fade going. We got Penelope Pitstop, a.k.a. Molly Kirim, hosting the show. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what the hell.
I don't even know that reference.
First Take is on the way. Molly, look it up, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Goodbye, Stephen A. Roll the open.
First Take's in that.
Oh, what a fake from Draymond Green.
My boys make major moves. Still the same ones that I came with. Up in the payment. Told you we nothing to play with. Guess some things unchangeable.
Shot is good and a foul. Golden State with a 16-point lead in the first half. Tatum finds some room.
All this time, I'm on the grind. Oh, I'm shining. Nothing can stop me.
And the Celtics take the lead. Poole gets it off in time. Oh, he banks it in. It's a one-point game as we head to the fourth.
Over the course of the game, we were in it. Felt like we just couldn't get over the hump.
Championship DNA shows up when it's needed most.
Run it up, run it up, run it up, run it up. Nothing can stop me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you for being with us. Stephen A., it's called a summer haircut, all right?
Summer cut, Stephen A.
Summer cut.
Like, weather's getting warmer. I'm going to be playing some golf and at the beach in the pool, trying to work on this tan. Come on, man.
He has a stressful summer ahead.
Definitely, you're a good-looking brother, Top Gun, but you definitely need to work on that tan. That is number
I'm well aware.
And number two, last time I checked, summer doesn't officially begin until the 21st of June. We have not arrived there yet, but that's me nitpicking. That's me nitpicking.
You're totally a Debbie Downer today. I can feel your vibe. It is going to be my goal to change that. Someone's a little cranky. It's catching up to him, the no sleep. Let's go. Yeah, yes, you are. Steph Curry, I'm right. I know I'm right. Has been hot all series. Last night, he didn't make a three for the first time in 233 games. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum's shooting woes, they came to an end. He put up 27 fellas. Boston's third quarter struggles came to an end as well, outscoring Golden State in the third 35-24. So despite all that in Boston's favor, the Celtics scored 5 points over the first 8 minutes of the fourth, and the Dubs took over from there with the 104-94 victory. Now Golden State is one win away and have the opportunity to collect another ring Thursday. Here's Steve Kerr.
We got two cracks at getting one win, but we also know how difficult it's going to be. So nobody's celebrating, but we're excited to be in this spot, and we want to take advantage of it.
From the jump, we was looking around, expecting somebody to bail us out. You just gotta, be stronger, more physical, more dominant, get to the paint, and make somebody stop you. And I know we're capable of it. We just got to do it.
All right. JJ, full disclosure, I really want the Celtics to win because I want my pick to be right, and my father's diehard Celtics fan for all those selfish reasons. I need to know this. Do you truly believe, with your expertise, former player, one of the greatest shooters, knowing all the do you truly believe the Celtics are going to win another game?
Do I truly believe? So, no, I don't think they are. I'm not changing my pick.
What?
I'm not all of a sudden saying the Warriors. I'm picking the Warriors. No, I'm still picking the Celtics. But in my heart of hearts, I'm struggling here, Stephen A. I'm struggling here. I really am. The Warriors.
You are dancing, bro.
They look like the better team. They look like the better team, and they have completely flummoxed the Boston Celtics offense, especially in the half court. It's a struggle right now. It is an absolute struggle. And, we could talk about all the turnover numbers, but the Golden State Warriors just look like they figured this team out. For them to have that game last night where Steph Curry goes 0 for 9 from 3, and they still win comfortably. And if you look at the end of that third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, it was guys like Jordan Poole. It was guys like Gary Payton II. It was guys like Andrew Wiggins stepping up in the moment. Where are those guys for the Celtics? Where are they, Stephen A? I don't know. My heart is sad today. My heart is sad.
Oh my God! Hey, you just right there, epitaph. Huh? That's what you're doing. And then I let it slide when you did it in the playoffs, okay? But you're switching picks again.
I'm not switching picks. I'm sticking with the Celtics. But the question was, do I believe they're going to win?
You got to lose it. Hold on.
Honest.
Educate me. I don't have a Duke education. That's no doubt. I'm proud of the education I received from an HBCU, Winston-Salem State. But damn it, I understand Duke is Duke. But I'm having a really tough time deciphering this. How do you pick the Celtics? But you got them losing in Game 6, which means they would lose the NBA Finals. I don't know. I mean, maybe your brilliance. I mean, I don't know, JJ Ray. How do you come up with that?
Both can be true. Both can be true.
How?
My official pick is still the Celtics. The question was, do I believe they're going to win? And the answer to that is no.
It's a little bit of hypocrisy. It's all good, though.
Oh, my Lord. Hilarious. Listen, here's the deal. I don't blame you one bit. I ain't going to get on you too hard about it, man. I don't blame you. I got the Warriors winning this in 7. I still believe that the Boston Celtics will go back to Boston Thursday night and win this, and then the Golden State Warriors will come back home and close it out because the Golden State Warriors are perfectly capable of wetting the bed. Let's take last night into consideration here. The Golden State Warriors escaped. Let's call that what it is. Now, they deserve all the credit in the world for the way they defended against Boston. There is no doubt about that. Holding Jason Tatum to 1 of 5 shooting in the fourth quarter, although he only committed 1 turnover in the fourth, for crying out loud. Jaylen Brown couldn't find his shot all night long. Certainly couldn't hit from 3. It was like 0 for 5 from three-point range. But let's take into account what the Golden State Warriors endured. Andrew Wiggins was absolutely sensational. It was the best game of his career. I don't think anybody would doubt that. And we're not talking about numbers because we know he scored more than 26 before. But the manner in which he played, the way he put his head down and attacked the basket, the way he defended against Jason Tatum late, particularly in the fourth quarter, Andrew Wiggins was the MVP of last night's game. It ain't even close. There is no doubt about it. And he made big play after big play, and he deserves a lot of credit. The Golden State Warriors collectively shot the rest of their, outside of Klay Thompson and his 5 threes that were pivotal. The starters combined to shoot 0 for 19 from three-point range. Steph Curry himself was 0 for 9, the first time in the last, 132 games, postseason games where he had at least 1 3-pointer. And last night that came to an end, so you can expect him to make amends for that come Thursday night. But when you look at how the Golden State Warriors struggled, particularly in the third quarter, when Boston came out and scored 10 straight and ultimately had their way in that third quarter before the last 80 seconds or so. You got to look at Boston and say they had an opportunity to win this game. And if that were to happen again in Boston, would they win that game? I'd say yes. So again, I'm going with my prediction of Golden State winning in 7, but I'm not ruling out the possibility that Boston could go back to Boston at TD Bank Garden for Game 6 and close this out, no matter how befuddled, no matter how flummoxed, to use your word, no matter how discombobulated they appear. It's still a 3-2 series, and I can see the Boston Celtics winning Thursday night and then losing Sunday night. I know they could lose, but I can still see them winning this game in Game 6. I really do.
They've shown an incredible amount of resiliency throughout these playoffs, and outside of the Brooklyn Nets series, they really haven't put together multiple games in a row where they played well. Obviously, they came back 3-2 against the Bucks and the Heat, and so they had to win multiple games in a row, and they've shown they're capable of that. We've talked about these turnovers, Stephen A., all playoffs, and high number of turnover games from Jaylen Brown, high number of turnover games from Jason Tatum, and if we want to talk about the series as a whole, to me, that's what it has come down to. Yes, Steph Curry has been brilliant. Yes, Andrew Wiggins was phenomenal last night. Points off turnovers, 103 to 79. That's almost 5 points a game in favor of the Warriors. And not all turnovers are created equal. You have dead ball turnovers. Yeah. Jason Tatum's first turnover last night, he tried to hit Marcus Smart in the corner, and he threw it into the 7th row. It's the live ball turnovers that have really, really hurt the Boston Celtics. I'll give you one stat real quick on that, which I think is fascinating. Through 5 games, the Warriors have forced 45 live ball turnovers, and they've scored 66 points. The Celtics have forced 27 live ball turnovers, and they've scored 42 points off that. Like, that, to me, is as much the difference in the series as anything else. And we've talked about this drop coverage against Steph. The last 2 games, the Celtics have been great in that drop coverage. You know, last night was a great example of that. And the reason, and you got to give Ime Udoka a lot of credit, because I think a lot of coaches, and if I was a coach, I would have overreacted. I would have overreacted and not stuck with that game plan of staying in drop coverage against Steph Curry. And it has worked. And the reason they don't want to do it is because of what we saw in that Mavs series, where they blitzed them over and over. The Warriors scored about 50 points in the paint in that series. Through 4 games, they were at 32 points in the paint. Last night, they got 50. Like that, when they get 50 points in the paint, they don't have to hit a lot of threes. Steph Curry doesn't have to go bananas and hit 6 or 7 threes for them to have a chance to win. And that's where you got to give Andrew Wiggins a lot of credit last night. Obviously on the defensive end, obviously rebounding the basketball, but his ability to attack the paint, and you saw it time and time again in the fourth quarter specifically, but his ability to attack the paint and get to the rim and score efficiently, that was huge for the Warriors.
Well, see, the thing about it is that I don't disagree with what you're saying. And obviously, you know, from a cumulative perspective, you're absolutely right. But I pay attention to moments, too. That does matter to me as well. And I think that when, you know, using baseball parlance, talking about the home run, the 3-point shot is the home run for the Golden State Warriors because of the manner in which it appears to galvanize everybody and really elevate their level of intensity. When they're hitting threes, they're looking to blow you out of building. They're like piranhas coming at you. All of a sudden, everybody gets hyped because they feed off of it. It's not to say that, you know what, they don't bring that defensive intensity for the most part. But when you score a 3-pointer as opposed to a 2-pointer, Golden State seems to feed off of that better than any team in the NBA. It just seems to do something to them, to heighten their level of adrenaline and tenacity and to make them come at you in a certain way. And so when you have only Klay Thompson hitting 3-pointers and you're getting that level of production from nobody else, there's a reason that Boston was able to come back after halftime and turn a 12-point deficit into a 5-point lead. There's a reason that Boston seemed within striking distance. There's a reason that Boston came out and was able to score 10 straight points. Something, somehow, some way, as they continue to scratch and claw and remain in it, when you're neutralizing Golden State from hitting those 3-point shots, it gives Boston that much of a chance. I say all of that to say, J.J. Redick, that when you're giving up twos, you're giving up points in the paint, even though you don't want that to happen. If we're looking at it as an end result from a cumulative perspective, we're saying, okay, this may be a reason why they lost that game. But what I'm saying to you is that when Golden State is scoring on twos instead of threes, it gives Boston life and keeps them in the mix of it. Now, they can't make the mistakes that you pointed out and you highlighted accurately so. But the point is they're there. They're right there. Why? Because Golden State, somehow, some way, their offense seems stale when they're not hitting the threes with the level of regularity we're accustomed to seeing from them. And if Boston could get them to rely more on twos than threes, I think Boston takes one of these games and they got a shot to win the NBA championship. I don't think it'll happen because you ain't going to see Golden State shoot from threes the way they did last night again. Certainly not when it comes to Steph Curry. But I do think that Boston still has a chance to get one of these games.
Well, here's where I'm sort of going to agree with that sentiment, because I've said this a number of times. I don't believe in momentum in series. I believe in adjustments and X's and O's and guys bring in the right mindset to a particular game. Like, that's what matters. But I do believe in momentum within a game. And to your point about the 3-pointers, that is certainly how Golden State generally gets momentum, is by those back-breaking threes where Steph hits a couple deep ones in a row. Klay goes nuts for a quarter. You know, we saw that last night. That Jordan Poole 3 at the end of the third quarter was a momentum shift. It gave them a 1-point lead. They never relinquished it. That was a huge play. But on the point about twos, I disagree with you on this. So much of what Golden State does well is they use the threat of the three. They use the threat of Steph Curry in pick and rolls or coming off post splits to get layups and score even more efficiently at the rim. They were at the top, towards the top of the league all season in made layups per game, made layups on cuts, points in the paint. That's what the Boston Celtics have tried to take away. And there is a cumulative effect. And whether you feel it as a player or amongst the fans, when they're not hitting threes, they're scoring efficiently at the rim like they did last night. And that to me is as much of a backbreaker, whether we as observers or whether the players on the court feel it. It is a backbreaker, Stephen.
No. Oh, I totally agree with you. The only thing I'm asking you to recognize is the fact that when they're scoring in the paint, yeah, they might end up losing the game, but in the throes of watching the game, because I completely agree with you, by the way, I don't believe necessarily in momentum in the series. When I'm talking momentum, I'm talking about in the moment in a game to help deliver a victory for you that particular night. I do believe that there are momentum shifts that take place within a game, and obviously that can galvanize you and elevate you to a victory. But what I'm saying to you is when you look at Boston, if you look at the Golden State Warriors, when they're scoring a lot on twos, as deflating as that is, there is far more of a profound impact when somebody's raining threes on you, particularly the Golden State Warriors, because they tend to feed off of it. It does something to them. And when you look at them going victory after victory after victory, okay, if they're primarily doing it because they're outscoring you on points in the paints, sometimes you've got thrillers. When they start raining threes on you, you scared as hell they're going to blow you out of the state. That's all I mean by making that kind of a statement. When we talk about Game 6, for example, if Steph Curry rolls up back in the TD Garden, or Klay Thompson, because we know what he like, we know he loves Game 6s and what have you, and they start raining threes on you, it's going to be lights out, because Golden State feeds off of that, and it serves to demoralize the opposition in ways that no other team can do that to somebody. And that's what I pay attention to. But I don't disagree with your premise. I understand where you're coming from. I'm just talking about the home run hits. I'm talking about the three-point shot. You want to make sure that you force Golden State to have a night like they had last night from three-point range. That drastically improves your chances.
That's fair.
And Warriors have had over 100 points on turnovers. That's the most since Jordan's Bulls in 1992. Let's focus on Steph Curry, guys. So as for him, obviously coming off that Herculean performance, 43 points, 10 rebounds, and he snapped his all-time streak of 233 consecutive games with a made three-pointer in a Game 5 win last night as the Warriors take a 3-2 series lead. He went 0 for 9 from 3. His line 16, 3, and 8. Steph, talk to me.
I mean, of course, it bothers me as a shooter. You want to. Thankfully, that's not the only thing that you do out there on the court.
I know he'll be thinking about the shots he missed, and that's a good thing because Thursday, hopefully, most of the time he regresses to the mean, and it's scary when he does.
First, I love the Ayesha Curry T-shirt because she's the real MVP. JJ, did the Celtics figure out how to slow him down? Steph?
I don't know if they figured out how to slow him down, but they certainly, again, stuck with their coverage. They stuck with their game plan. And as I mentioned, you know, that drop coverage over the last 2 games has worked much better than it worked the first 3 games. They're basically scoring about half as many points per possession in the last 2 games versus the first 3. So that is working. Yeah, the one play that really sticks out to me last night was in the fourth quarter. They ran their post split on the right side, right in front of their bench. Steph Curry came off, and we saw a similar play in the fourth quarter in Boston in Game 4. Derek White got a great rear view contest, and you saw Robert Williams, I think it was, Robert Williams all the way back. You know, his man was a screener. You saw him all the way back. On this particular play last night, Al Horford lunged and basically trapped Steph Curry off that post split. Steph Curry made the simple play. He hit Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins got a lefty lay at the rim. We have not seen that play at all this series. That has not been an action. They have been content to let him shoot. And so even though he had an off shooting night, there was a sense of desperation. And I can attest to this as a shooter. Sometimes you just miss shots. And we have seen throughout Steph Curry's career, this playoff run, and even in these finals, yeah, he's killed, but like he's hitting ridiculously tough shots. And sometimes on night to night, you might just have an off night and you might not hit the shots that you normally hit. And I thought that was a little bit of the case last night. And the other part was them sticking in that drop coverage, but then also off the ball, just having a crazy sense of desperation, which they hadn't had in the first 4 games by bringing that to second defender in there.
Steph Curry was 0 for 9 last night from three-point range. I counted at least 4 three-point shots where he was wide open. He just missed. It happens. I mean, he's the greatest shooter God has ever created. I've never seen anybody can shoot the basketball like him. He's entitled. It happens, okay? I'm not worried about that at all. And I would remind everybody that figuring him out We came into last night's game fresh off a 43-point performance by Steph Curry in Game 4. On 14 of 26 shooting, 7 of 14 from three-point range, averaging 34 on 50% shooting from the field and 49% shooting from three-point range. What the hell you mean figured him out? One game because he missed, all of a sudden they figured him out? That is just idiotic. There's no. Did
I say that? Why are you calling me an idiot? No, I didn't say that.
Not you. I'm not talking about you.
Okay,
I'm talking about the question. I'm talking about the question. All right. What I'm saying is, I'm saying for anybody who would think that, it's idiotic because here's the deal. Steph Curry had contested shots in the first 4 games of the NBA Finals. And he was doing what he was doing despite the fact that some of those shots were contested. So the point that I'm trying to make is that last night he just missed. But I didn't see the Boston Celtics in terms of a hand in his face. And I know that you can schematically you can get into the coverage that they exercise against him, JJ. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, contested, uncontested, I saw the same amount of opportunities and the same amount of contested shots. He just made them before last night. Last night was a struggle. Let's see what happens in Game 6. I'm willing to bet my check you won't see an 0-4 from Steph Curry from three-point range again. I want to bet my check on that. I don't see that happening.
That's a pretty safe bet if we look historically.
Yeah. How about
given
that?
Given that he, I think 132 playoff games is the first time going 0-4. Hadn't done it since November, I believe, of 2018 in a regular season game. Like he's going to come back and he's going to make threes. The point to add on to what you said, and this is not in disagreement at all. It's just to supplement what you just said about Steph Curry and really any truly great player. I'm not talking top 15, top 20 guys going through their first deep playoff run. I'm talking about the truly great players. They have seen every coverage. They have seen every defense. They've been guarded by small pests. They've been guarded by long wing defenders. They've been guarded by bulldogs like Marcus Smart. They've seen every defender on them. They've seen every coverage. There's no figuring out how to guard these guys. Steph Curry is one of the greatest players of all time, one of the greatest offensive players of all time, one of the greatest shooter or the greatest shooter of all time. You're not figuring him out. Some nights you get lucky and he goes 0-for or he has a 2-for-12 game from 3, but that has really as little to do with defense as him just missing. You can try and make it tough on him, but he's just that good.
And let's call it what it is, JJ Redick. The fact that Steph Curry was 0-for-9 yesterday is why you sitting here thinking that Boston's done. Because they lost the game despite the fact that Steph Curry was 0-for-9. And you know that ain't happening again. That's a big reason why you feel the way that you feel right now. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
All right, JJ, sit tight. We got some football news to deal with. Stephen A. from our nation's capital. That's where we'll go right now. Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera spoke to the media earlier this morning. Rivera, who has fined his defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio $100,000 for comments he made last week, referring to the January 6th, 2021 events at the U.S. Capitol as a dust-up, had this to say a little while ago.
This is not the fact that he exercised his right to free speech. This is about what impacted the football team, okay? And that's the thing we all have to understand. I believe in the First Amendment very strongly. The thing that we all have to understand with these rights, these freedoms, come tremendous responsibility. And we have to understand that as well. And so this is about the impact that was made on our football team, the distraction it has become. And it's a very serious question and topic. But at the end of the day, you know, it did impact us, and that's why I did what I did.
All right, Stephen A., what's your reaction to Ron Rivera's latest comments?
I applaud Ron Rivera. He's class personified. He's a leader of men. He's a damn good coach and an even better man. And what he said, what he just articulated, he deserves an enormous amount of credit for what he said. Noticed what he brought into focus. He said this is not an issue of his First Amendment rights. We get that, and we understand that you have a right to say what you said. But his words, as irresponsible and as insensitive as they were, impacted us as an organization. So what is Ron Rivera taking a moment, Molly, to educate us about? It's not just about what you say. It's about the impact it has on the lives of others. And in this case, it's the Washington Commanders. Because as an organization that's enduring what they're enduring with all the nonsense involving Daniel Snyder and upper management and what the organization has allegedly done when it comes to women and all of this other stuff. The fact is, the last thing you needed was something like this.
Yeah.
Just another area of insensitivity where we have an employee on our franchise that, you know, he comes and he exercises such a level of insensitivity and outright stupidity. I'm consistent, however, in what I've been saying over the last few days. You want to find him, that's fine. You want to educate him, that's fine. But you have people calling for his job. I want us to be careful because, again, if you want to take into account Jack Del Rio's history, what he did in Jacksonville with Shaq Harris and Charlie Bailey, or what he did in other places, because there's a lot of noise that's emanating out of the NFL where people are talking about Jack Del Rio, his character or lack thereof, and some of the other things that have been associated with him. I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't cover the NFL like that. The NFL insiders can educate me as to what his record is and what his reputation is. But specifically, as it pertains to this issue of what he said about comparing the murder of George Floyd and the riots that came from that to the dust-up that happened at the Capitol, those were his words. That was a very irresponsible thing to say. We are aware with the riots that took place in the aftermath of George Floyd, that 25 people died, that $2 billion in damages, were caused due to the riots and the protests and what have you. Marcus Swagoo and I, yesterday, we spoke about that. And we understand where Jack Del Rio was trying to come from, but it doesn't make his words any less insensitive. It doesn't make his words any less irresponsible. So the fact that he's being called to the carpet by Ron Rivera, his head coach, is appropriate as long as that man isn't fired over this one thing, because he's ill-informed and he was insensitive.
Yeah.
And if that is a cause to fire somebody, then a whole bunch of us are going to lose our jobs in the near future. And I'll say my last point, and I said it yesterday. When white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. The system is designed that no matter how much they suffer, nobody's going to suffer more than us. So when you got the NAACP and others calling for Jack Del Rio's head, understand that there are folks who say things that are relatively insensitive and irresponsible all the time, and they're allowed to make amends for their mistake and continue to move forward while remaining employed. If we're going to sit up there and fire people over this kind of stuff right here, like Jack Del Rio, the mistake that he made, we are opening up a Pandora's box we may not be ready to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Rivera also said that Del Rio apologized to the team this morning. And Stephen A., I'll just say really quickly, the team, obviously, they've dealt with off-field distractions for the past 2 years, but they have to feel good about their head coach, how he handled this swiftly, with grace, just nipping it in the bud right away. So I'm sure the team's galvanizing behind their head coach at this moment. All right.
And let's not forget, we also had Jason Wright come on the show. He's the head of their organization right now. He's above Ron Rivera. Remember, we had him on First Take when he was hired. They've got a wonderful lady that I've known for many, many years by the name of Julie Donaldson, who does great work for them with media relations and what have you. So the organization is pointed in the right direction. And, of course, having Ron Rivera there is a big, big deal with all the mess that Daniel Snyder allowed. But they weren't there when that was happening. They're there now, and they're doing what they can to make things better. So let's give credit where credit is due when it comes to that.
But these players have dealt with so much off the field, so maybe this moment will kind of bring everybody together. We'll see. Yes. Still ahead here on First Take. Things got heated over Anthony Davis yesterday. So where does a healthy AD rank amongst the game's best players? Yesterday, we debated, is it a big deal that Anthony Davis had not taken a shot since April 5th? JJ arguing absolutely not. Stephen A. saying yes, and that spurred this debate. Let's flash back.
Here's my question. You both said Anthony Davis is a top 7 player? Look, I like Anthony Davis.
When healthy.
When healthy?
Luka, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Kevin Durant. If he's better than those guys, if that's what you think, by all means, okay.
We could debate this another day, but when Anthony Davis is healthy, I got him top 7. Yeah.
All right, that was winter JJ. Now we have summer JJ. So tell me this. Is
What's up,
a
Amari?
healthy AD? I'm
Right.
sorry, I didn't even introduce you, Amari. I forgot. I've seen him
Yeah,
like 10
It's all good.
No, I've seen him like 10 times already this morning. I forgot the audience. He's on Get Up. I forgot the Amari Stoudemire, everybody.
We here.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
We good.
All right, Penelope. Let's go.
You're such a hater. You're supposed to
forgive
be
you.
my
We forgive
teammate. Get some sleep, you crankster. All right, JJ, I'm focused on you. Is a healthy AD a top 7 player?
No, he's not. And again, like I said yesterday, he's a great player.
Yeah.
And he's been primarily unavailable since they won the championship in the bubble. He played half the Lakers games in 2021. I think he played 36 games of the 72, and last year he missed 50 games. He hasn't been healthy. But the list that I gave you yesterday, like when we're going to talk about if healthy, right? If healthy, Anthony Davis is a top 7 player. First of all, he's not better than any of those 7 players I listed. He's not better than Kawhi Leonard when healthy, if we're going to go that route. He's certainly not better than Kawhi. So yesterday you said you're going to take him over Luka, and you're definitely not going to take him over a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Like that's crazy, Stephen A. So he's just not a top 7 player. No, he's in that next tier of guys. But here's the issue with the next tier of guys. I'm going to give you the next tier of guys in my eyes. Kawhi Leonard, of course. We can put him in the top. If we want to talk if healthy, Kawhi Leonard's probably a top 7 player. You got to take one of those guys out. Easy. Jason Tatum, Paul George, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, when healthy. All these guys, when healthy. You look at all the guys I listed yesterday. You look at Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Paul George, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler. Outside of Joel Embiid, those 12 guys, every single one of those guys has been the best player on a team that has gotten either to the conference finals or the NBA finals. And some of them, of course, are NBA champions. Anthony Davis has never been the best player on a team that has gotten to the conference finals or the NBA championship. Now, he made the playoffs twice in New Orleans, and they made it out of the first round once, and they got swept. So I don't know where you're arguing. And he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good in 2 years. And by the way, the bubble, he's a 30% shooter from 3 for his career. He shot 38% in the playoffs in the bubble. There's a little bit of an anomaly there as it relates to the rest of his career. I don't understand where your argument could be that he somehow is a top 7 player in the NBA today when healthy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, let me tell America how slick First Take is, especially with Mr. Top Gun right there. You see, I'm out here at the finals. I got 4:30 a.m. wake-up calls. I got to be on the air at 7 a.m. And not only do they have an argument that just came out of nowhere, but they gave J.J. Redick an extra day to prepare. You see, they thought they'd catch me off guard. I see how this works. I see how this works. I see how this works. I see how that works. Listen, but let me tell you, well, obviously I ain't had time to focus on that, Molly. I mean, I did have other priorities, okay? I wasn't in my bed by 10 a.m.
That's your excuse, Stephen A.
I didn't have that, okay?
That's your excuse to losing this? Come on, man. I know. I had to work yesterday too. I had to take care of my kids. I didn't get up early with my kids this morning. Come on, man. Come on. I didn't take them to camp.
I thought you're Stephen A. You can handle this. You want to be the face of the network?
I can handle this.
I
can handle this. Well, I am the face. I don't want to be. I am. But that's a different subject for another day. Let me just say this, okay? J.J. Redick, let me put myself on blast. J.J. Redick, remember, the caveat is when healthy. When healthy, okay? So we're talking about a healthy Anthony Davis, which is a rarity. Because I got news for you. I'd pick every single player over Anthony Davis right now that you mentioned strictly because of their reliability. The fact that they're healthy. So, again, we're not talking injuries now. Amari, you're my witness. We ain't talking injuries. Because every single player J.J. Redick mentioned is more reliable than Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis is hurt too much. We're only talking skill. What you do on the basketball court when you're healthy. J.J. Redick, are you ready for this? I'd take Anthony Davis over Luka. I'd take Anthony Davis over Jokic. Yes, I would. And let me go a step further. And I know he can't. I know how great Jokic is in terms of his passing ability, his playmaking ability. The brother can't jump onto a curb for crying out loud, and no one can stop him. It makes no sense. I can't. It's unbelievable. Jokic is unbelievable. But I'm saying this to you. I take him over Luka. I take him over Jokic, and as much love and respect and reverence as I have for Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum and how big time I believe both of them are, I take a healthy Anthony Davis over them too. Because guess what, JJ, and I understand that you don't know this, because, obviously, shooting was your gift. And moving without the basketball and being an offensive player. You were never known as a great defender, JJ. No shade whatsoever. It's just a fact. Anthony Davis was and is. When that brother, and you can talk about LeBron James being the best player all you want to, and that's a fact. But LeBron James doesn't win a title without Anthony Davis. LeBron James convinced the Lakers to give away half their squad.
So you're saying, hold on. I want to clarify that point. You're saying you're going to put a Robin in the top 7. That's what you're saying. You're not.
Yes.
He's okay. He's the only guy in the top 7 with the Robin, and then there's a bunch of Batmans after him. Okay.
Time. Let me ask you a question. If he was on Boston, he would be Robin. If he was on Miami, would he be Robin? That's where I'm going. See, you can bring up Robin all you want to, but you got to be in its proper context. He wouldn't be Robin to Jimmy Butler.
No. I just completely destroyed that argument.
How?
Because Anthony Davis couldn't get past the second round on his own. Jimmy Butler has.
Stop it.
Jason Tatum has.
Stop it.
3 times. Three times.
Let Amari get in here, Stephen.
That's a heavy lift, Stephen. Think about this. If Anthony Davis, to me, okay, the top 7 is a bit of a stretch, right? When healthy, I don't know if I can put him past, Jokic or Luka, right? But the Tatum and the Butler situation, when healthy, I do have Anthony Davis above those guys. But I did mention yesterday that, okay, well, Anthony Davis, when healthy, could be top 7, right? It's debatable. And the list we have now that Jay gave yesterday of the top 7 guys, it'd be tough to put Anthony Davis in that top 7 group. But I don't see anywhere me. I'm just saying only because we need to see him healthy, for a longer stretch. Right now, it's tough to see. It's tough to judge because he hasn't been completely healthy, and we haven't got a chance to see his dominance over the past few years. Now, granted, when he's healthy, we see the dominance, but we haven't seen that over the past few years.
Hold on, JJ. First of all, let me get on Amari now. Because Amari, excuse me, Amari Stoudemire. You understand the human highlight reel? Yeah. We're going to talk to you right now. Because, damn it, you weren't known for defense either. Now, let's be very, very clear. But you know this. You know how elite. You know I love you. You know you were big time offensively. But defensively, you nobody was bragging about your defense now. Now, let's understand something.
Okay.
Anthony Davis is a different animal. He's a rim protector, not just a rebound. He's a rim protector, JJ Amari.
I give him that.
Jokic is not a rim protector. Luka Doncic ain't even in a conversation defensively. Not even in a conversation. Now, last time I checked, y'all told me it's 2 sides of the basketball. We got to take things into consideration. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is good for 28 and 12. He's good for 28 and 12. Then when you take into account his ability to rebound the basketball and to rim protect, I can't ignore that. I'm not saying he's a better offensive player than all of these people, but when you take into account the totality of basketball, how in the hell am I talking to 2 NBA players who are just going to ignore what?
But you got to factor in. But you got to factor in basketball IQ.
He's a great 2-way player, but
right. You got to factor in basketball IQ. Think about this. Out of those top 7 guys, those top 7 guys has a high level of basketball IQ. Now, Anthony Davis got to prove to us
Totally agree.
that he has that level of IQ. I haven't seen that yet in him. Now, he's dominant when healthy, but from an IQ standpoint, I need to see that.
So he had no IQ. He was just.
I'm not saying he doesn't have no IQ.
No,
he's not
with
saying that.
LeBron.
Luka Doncic and Jokic has
the other guys are all
high level IQ.
Go ahead, JJ. I just want to clarify.
I'll listen.
I'll both of you. I just want to. It's a question for both of you. I just want to clarify before I make my next point. When you say when healthy, what does that mean? Like, if a guy's playing an NBA game, does that count as being healthy? If he's playing in an NBA game, because there's a difference now. When I talk about Damian Lillard, missed.
I'm just talking about guys at their best.
PG
I'm just talking about guys at their best. At their best health-wise. That's all I'm saying. At their best health-wise.
When they're on the court.
Is
when
that
they're
fair?
on the court.
But JJ, you've been on the court, but you've been injured. I'm sorry, you've been hurt, but
yeah,
you
that's
played.
what he's trying to differentiate what your definition is here.
I'm explaining it. I'm saying you're at your best healthy. That's all I'm asking. That's the assumption. At your best health-wise, what are you? That's all, JJ. At your best health-wise.
My point to that is, last year Anthony Davis averaged 21-7 when he was on the court. And I'm assuming he's healthy enough to play. He averaged 21-7, not 28-12. It was his lowest production year since his second year. He averaged 17 in the playoffs and shot 40% from the field in the first round against the Los Angeles Lakers. And this season, when healthy and on the court, he was one of the most inefficient jump shooters in the NBA. Three-pointers and mid-range.
But I wouldn't say he was completely healthy.
Joel Embiid was on the court this year, but he wasn't healthy at times.
Right.
And we know what he can do when he's healthy. Come on, JJ, you know the difference. Let's not play this game. You understand what the criteria is.
I know for a fact that Anthony Davis does not
health-wise.
play when he's hurt. You know that, Stephen A. That's why he misses so many games.
Oh, my God.
That's why he misses games, because he's got to be right. He's got to be right.
JJ,
that's why he misses so many games.
Don't do that to the audience. Don't confuse them. We know that. I know you're right.
So when he's on the floor, he's healthy is my point.
Listen. No, you've been on the court when you haven't been healthy.
So you're
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Anthony Davis.
Time out. Right now you're debating two different things because JJ's saying if someone's on the court. Hold on, Stephen.
No.
Wait, hold on. Let me speak. He's saying that when someone's on the court, that's what we're comparing because they're deemed healthy if they're able to get on the court. And Stephen A., you're not saying when they're on the court. It's when they're at their best.
And you bring up
we're debating two different things. So let's get on the same page and let's talk about when someone's on the court.
My point is Anthony Davis does not play hurt. He plays when he's right. And you're bringing up Joel Embiid in a like one-of-one situation where the guy's playing with two torn ligaments in his hand and a broken orbital bone in the playoffs. Like,
but he's not healthy. But he's not healthy in that space.
And he's not.
But he's on the court.
When is Anthony Davis playing with an injury? If you can bring that up to me, I would like to know.
JJ, you're not being fair. You're not being fair, JJ. We're having, because of our argument yesterday. I'm
talking about specifically about Anthony Davis.
No, JJ, you listen. We're talking, yesterday we got into a discussion. We transitioned to today, and we're having fun with an argument about you are healthy. You are 100%. At your best, who you taking? That's all we're saying.
Okay.
I've seen Amari Stoudemire on the court.
When he's on the court,
hold on.
He hasn't been a top 7 player.
But listen, and he hasn't been healthy in 2 years. But he was on the court. He was healthy enough to play. But he hasn't been. We're just talking about if you're at your best, JJ Redick 100%, Amari Stoudemire 100%, Stephen A 100%. Guess what? I'm not in y'all class.
There's a notion too saying that someone at 85% can be better than half the league. So even though you're not 100% healthy, you're still playing even though you're not 100% healthy.
I'm saying, JJ, to make it simple, all the guys you mentioned, give me their absolute best. Give me Anthony Davis at his absolute best.
All right, let's do this.
He's top 7.
So now that we're kind of changing the debate for JJ here, since you guys are talking about when he's healthy and saying that he's top 7 when he's healthy. JJ's talking. No, I'm
saying when he's on the court, he's healthy because he doesn't play hurt.
But they're debating by different rules. So let's say when he's at his best, JJ, just play along with them for
everybody at their best.
Just play along.
Everybody
when he's at his best, you're picking.
I'm not going to let you off the hook, Stephen A. I'm not going to let you off the hook.
JJ Slick.
Lay off the weed. I'm taking your thing. Lay off the weed. I'm not going to let you off the hook. I know we're talking about Anthony Davis. You said Anthony Davis is better than Jokic, back-to-back MVP. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't think
Jokic
plays defense the way Anthony Davis can play defense. I don't believe that.
I can't with you today.
I don't believe
Can't
that.
with you.
I don't
I don't know
believe
if
that.
it's the
And by the
sleep.
way,
I don't know.
Luka ain't even in the conversation because that brother, when he starts playing defense, it'll be the first. It'll be the first
I
time.
have a feeling we'll be continuing this at some point, and I really just can't wait for that moment.
And I love
It's
Luka.
over right now, though. When we come back here on First Take, will the Warriors close things out in Boston Thursday, or does the series go 7? We're diving into the NBA Finals coming up. I tried to get to an end as well, outscoring Golden State in the third, 35-24. Despite all that in Boston's favor, the Celtics scored 5 points over the last 8 minutes of the fourth, and the Dubs just ran away with it from there, 104-95, getting the victory. Now Golden State is 1 win away, and they have the opportunity to collect another ring on Thursday. JJ and Amari still here with us. And Amari, I'll start with you. What do you think's the biggest reason the Celtics lost last night?
I think it's the lack of scoring in the fourth quarter. And the main reason I say is because of, I think Jason Tatum got to assert himself in the fourth.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, if you don't have the mindset of wanting to take over the game down the stretch, it's going to be tough to win an NBA championship. And so you got to have the heart of a champion, man. There's no excuses about being tired, shots not falling, the defensive strategy. At this point, you've seen all the defensive coverages, right? You saw Golden State on how they want to guard you from game 1, game 2 to game 3, all the way to now game 6 coming up. And you have seen all the strategies. You watch film. You know the defense the trap is coming from, and you're still not able to execute down the stretch in the fourth quarter. That's an issue. And I'm not sure if that's your heart. I'm not sure if that's your genetic makeup. But you got to turn into a pit bull down the stretch in the fourth quarter. And if you don't, it's going to be tough to beat those guys, the Golden State Warriors.
Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head with Tatum. The fact of the matter is this team has not been a good clutch team all season. And they were through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Jason Tatum played well in clutch situations in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and then he went back to struggling in that period of the game against the Heat, and he's struggled again in the fourth quarter in this series, 5 for 21 overall in the fourth quarter. So I think some of this is just this lack of ability to close out a game, which is what they struggle with. And then the other part of this, goes back to their struggles on offense, period, is just the turnovers. I mean, we have all these indicators about when they turn the ball over at a high rate, 16 or more, they're 1-7, 15 or less, they're 13-2. And they just continue to have these high turnover games in these big moments, like last night. 18 turnovers to 6 turnovers for the Warriors. And so, Stephen, we were talking earlier about the struggles from the three-point line for the Warriors and the struggles from the three-point line from Steph Curry. And they were able to offset that because of the Boston Celtics turnovers. And I look at this roster. They don't necessarily. They have a bunch of great players, and I'm a huge fan of everybody on their team. I truly am. They have a bunch of great players. They don't necessarily have a guy like Chris Paul, right? A guy that's going to get you in an offense, that's going to get you in a set, that's going to execute. Marcus Smart has done an outstanding job this season, shifting into more of that traditional point guard role, but he's still not that player. Jason Tatum is not that player. And so I think some of the struggle in the clutch is just not being completely organized, not being in a good set, shooting early in the shot clock, tough contested shots, which we saw some last night as well. And so it comes down to their struggles are offensively related. Like they're still, their defensive rating for the series would still rank in the top 10 in the league, and that's going against the Golden State Warriors. So it comes down to offense for me.
Yep.
Well, Molly's a witness to this, and JJ, I think you were on a segment with me when I said this months ago, and or rather weeks ago. I apologize, and I'll say it again. The Boston Celtics don't have a point guard, and that's a big problem. They don't have a floor general to set them down. They don't have a floor general to make them get into their sets. They don't have a floor general that understands the responsibility that each and every single individual on the floor has, and to make sure that they're maximizing whatever potential they may bring to the equation. They don't have that dude. They have athletes. They have scorers. They have athleticism. They have veracity. They have tenacity, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. They have those things. But they don't have that floor general that says, okay, calm down. All right, everybody, let's do this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. All right, let's get that done. They don't have that guy. And so what happens is that when you have an onslaught, a tsunami coming your way, whether it's in threes or converting, baskets in the paint or whatever, and you need somebody to control pace. You need somebody to dictate the action to some degree. They don't have that floor general. They are devoid of a floor leader. Marcus Smart is a hell of a player. We know he's the reigning defensive player of the year. We know his toughness, that pit bull persona that he walks around with is legit and it's real. But he's not a floor general. He's not having a bad series by any stretch of the imagination. But he's not a floor general. And look at how many times, JJ, Redd, that's probably why you got a haircut. It's probably why you got the crew cut. You got tired of pulling out your hair because you're watching them turn over the damn ball, making one mistake after another, whether it's Tatum or it's Brown. It's like, Brown, why are you trying to run through people all the damn time? Well, I know that you launch threes, but sometimes you go in the lane. You can elevate. You can pull up. Why are you trying to run through people? How many times is Jason Tatum? He's 6'9", for crying out loud, with incredibly broad shoulders. Why are you trying to squeeze through defenders all the time instead of just elevating and pulling up, all right? And being patient enough to get the opportunities that you want in the space that you want to take those opportunities. What are you doing? That's the problem with the Boston Celtics. And that's what we're looking at right now. And Derek White, he comes off the bench for you. You can't play 20-plus minutes, bro, and have 1 point. He's averaging 11 points in the series, okay? He had 1 point last night. Didn't hit a basket. Can't happen, okay? Can't happen. Jaylen Brown, 5 of 18. Maybe if you got to the hole more, maybe if you start waiting for 3 defenders to collapse on you and just elevate and get to the basket and draw a foul. You do stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, you're slowing down the pace, and you're getting the Warriors, even though they're an excellent team, you're forcing them to do things they may not want to do. That's the art of trying to win in the postseason. Boston's not doing that. They're just saying, we know that we're a great team. We know that we got all the tools and we have all the ability, and we're going to make you deal with that, as opposed to using this and saying, you know what? Let's make sure we focus on them doing the things that they don't want to do and making life every bit as inconvenient for them as they make for us.
But at this point, Stephen A., let me ask you this, because even they don't have a point guard, right? You and Jay are saying the same thing, that the Celtics don't have a true point guard. But you're now in the NBA Finals, and there's no time for excuses. So if you don't have a point guard, so what? You got to get the job done. So as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, listen, guys, okay, we don't have a point guard, but I got to do what I got to do to get this win down the stretch in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to take it upon myself. Like, Marcus Smart's doing his job trying to facilitate and control the game from a point guard slot, even though he's not a true point guard. But as the star player of the team, you're the franchise guy. You're the cornerstone player. It's my job to carry us over the hump in the fourth quarter.
Well, let me tell you where JJ's absolutely right, and we got to bring this up too. There were at least moments in the game where you didn't need Brown or Tatum. They kicked it out to open Al Horford. He drained the 3. They kicked it out to an open Marcus Smart on a couple of occasions. He drained the 3. What I'm saying is that the role players, per se, for the Boston Celtics have shown you they can deliver for you. The issue has been primarily Tatum and or Brown. Somehow, some way, not only are they not scoring, but they're turning the ball over in pivotal minutes, almost always trying to put the ball on the floor and make things happen instead of moving the basketball, sharing it, and creating open opportunities for those role players who have proven to you that they are worthy.
Yep.
Well, you bring up a great point, because I get the mentality, and maybe not so in the NBA for me, but at times in youth basketball, you're the best player on the floor. And you just say, I got to do it. And you put your head down and you try to make a play. I'm sure, Amari, you had that at times as a player too. And I see that happening with Jaylen Brown and with Jason Tatum at times. And if you go back to Game 1, when they outscored them 40-16 in the fourth quarter, it was just ball movement. It was not, it's my turn, it's your turn, I got to do this. It's just making the right play over and over. And that was one of their wins. The other win was obviously Game 3. And that, to me, was a game where they ramped up their physicality. They just used their athleticism and their size to sort of overwhelm the Warriors in that game. It can't be like, we're going to win because I'm going to put my head down and drive into traffic and try to make a play. Like, there's got to be a plan. There's got to be spacing. There's got to be the willingness to get off the basketball at times. And you look at Jaylen Brown last night. He took 18 shots, and he's more than capable of making contested shots. 17 of those shots last night were contested. So he's 5 for 18. 17 of the 18 shots were contested last night. I don't know that that's a recipe against a really good defensive team to win a basketball game.
I hear that, but the thing is, too, you got to think about this. Your skill set as the franchise player has to super exceed any defensive coverage, right? So down the stretch, if I know the double team's coming from the baseline, I'm going to spin to the middle for the jump shot over the top. Or if it's coming from the top, I'm going to spin to the baseline. So as a star player, you have to know exactly what the defense is bringing to you, and you have to put yourself in position now to be aggressive and to be accurate down the stretch.
All right, I'm going to close it up by saying this. I asked Stephen A. and JJ this at the top of the show, are the Celtics winning another game? Both of them said no.
No, that's not true. I think the
You're
boys
saying
are going to win Game 6. I got Warriors winning in 7. JJ's giving up on them.
Okay,
I
JJ
believe
gave
this
up
is
on
going
them.
7.
What about you? Are the Celtics winning another game?
I do feel the Celtics will win another game. Yep.
2 games or 1 game?
No, another game. I think Game 6, Boston will win.
Everybody lost hope.
Going for the
Very
reverse jinx
sad.
here. The reverse jinx.
Very,
That's what I'm
very
going for.
sad.
Yep.
All right, we'll
Yep.
leave it there. When we come back here on First Take, Lamar Jackson is back with the Ravens for the first time this offseason as he waits for a new deal. Was this the right?
For me, I'm just saying only because we need to see him healthy, for a longer stretch. Right now, it's tough to see. It's tough to judge because he hasn't been completely healthy, and we haven't got a chance to see his dominance over the past few years. Now, granted, when he's healthy, we see the dominance, but we haven't seen that over the past few years. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, JJ. First of all, let me get on Amari now. Because Amari, excuse me, Amari Stoudemire. You understand what I'm saying? The human highlight reel. Yeah. We're going to talk to you right now. Because, damn it, you weren't known for defense either. Now, let's be very, very clear. But you know this. You know how elite. You know I love you. You know you were big time offensively. But defensively, you nobody was bragging about your defense now. Now, let's understand something.
Okay.
Anthony Davis is a different animal. He's a rim protector, not just a rebound. He's a rim protector, JJ Amari.
I give him that.
Jokic is not a rim protector. Luka Doncic ain't even in a conversation defensively. Not even in a conversation. Now, last time I checked, y'all told me it's 2 sides of the basketball. We got to take things into consideration. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is good for 28 and 12. He's good for 28 and 12. Then when you take into account his ability to rebound the basketball and to rim protect, I can't ignore that. I'm not saying he's a better offensive player than all of these people, but when you take into account the totality of basketball, how in the hell am I talking to 2 NBA players who are just going to ignore what?
No, but you got to factor in. But you got to factor in basketball IQ.
He's a great two-way player, but
Right, you got to factor in basketball IQ. Think about this. Out of those top 7 guys, has a high level of basketball IQ. Now, Anthony Davis got to prove to us that he has that level of IQ. I haven't seen that yet in him. Now, he's dominant when healthy, but from an IQ standpoint, I need to see that.
So he had no IQ.
I'm not saying he doesn't have no IQ.
No, he's not saying that.
LeBron.
Luka Doncic and Jokic has
the other guys are all
high level IQ.
Go ahead, JJ.
I just want to clarify.
I'll listen. I'll step back and listen.
You. I just want to. It's a question for both of you. I just want to clarify before I make my next point. When you say when healthy, what does that mean? Like, if a guy's playing an NBA game, does that count as being healthy? If he's playing in an NBA game, because there's a difference now. When I talk about Damian Lillard, missed.
I'm just talking about guys at their best.
PG
I'm just talking about guys at their best. At their best health-wise. That's all I'm saying. At their best health-wise.
When they're on the court.
Is that fair? But JJ, you've been on the court, but you've been injured. I'm sorry, you've been hurt, but you played.
That's what he's trying to differentiate what your definition is here.
I'm explaining it. I'm saying you're at your best healthy. That's all I'm asking. That's the assumption. At your best health-wise, what are you? That's all, JJ. At your best health-wise.
My point to that is, last year Anthony Davis averaged 21-7 when he was on the court. And I'm assuming he's healthy enough to play. He averaged 21-7, not 28-12. It was his lowest production year since his second year. He averaged 17 in the playoffs and shot 40% from the field in the first round against the Los Angeles Lakers. And this season, when healthy and on the court, he was one of the most inefficient jump shooters in the NBA. Three-pointers and mid-range.
But I wouldn't say he was completely healthy.
Joel Embiid was on the court this year, but he wasn't healthy at times,
Right.
and we know what he can do when he's healthy. Come on, JJ, you know the difference. Let's not play this game. You understand what the criteria is.
I know for a
when
fact
you
that
are
Anthony
at your
Davis
peak
does not
health-wise.
play when he's hurt. You know that, Stephen A. That's why
I
he misses so
agree.
many games.
Oh my God!
That's why he misses games, because he's got to be right. He's got to be right.
JJ,
that's why
don't
he
do that
misses
to the
so many
audience.
games.
Don't
No,
do
you
that
know
to
that.
the audience.
Come on.
Don't confuse them. We know that. I know you're right. I'm
So
saying
when he's
to
on the
you,
floor, he's healthy. Is my point.
Listen. No, you've been on the court when you haven't been healthy.
So you're
I'm not saying. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Anthony Davis.
Time out. Right now, you're debating two different things because JJ's saying
said-
if someone's
but
on the
JJ
court,
switched it up
hold on,
'cause he was
Stephen.
losing
He's
the
saying-
argument.
Wait, hold on. Let me speak. He's saying that when someone's on the court, that's what we're comparing because they're deemed healthy if they're able to get on the court. And Stephen A., you're not saying when they're on the court; it's when they're at their best.
Yeah, and you bring up
so
you
we're
bring up Joel
debating. So
Embiid,
we're
like-
debating two different things. So let's get on the same page and let's talk about when
That's fine.
someone's on
That's
the
what
court.
I'm
My
asking.
point is
On
Anthony
the
Davis
court.
does not play hurt. He plays when he's right. And you're bringing up Joel Embiid in a like one-of-one situation
fair,
where the
JJ.
guy's playing with two
Switch
torn
it.
ligaments in his hand and a broken orbital bone in the playoffs. Like
Right, but he's not
is
healthy.
Totally,
But
and
he's not healthy in that space.
And he's
Not
not.
healthy,
But he's
JJ.
on- but he's on the court.
When is
You
Anthony
changed it
Davis
up,
played
Jay.
with an injury? If you can bring that up to me, I would like to know.
JJ, you're not being fair. You're not being fair, JJ. We're having, because of our argument yesterday.
I'm talking about specifically
No.
about
Listen to
Anthony
me.
Davis.
No, JJ, you listen. We're talking, yesterday we got into a discussion. We transitioned to today, and we're having fun with an argument about you are healthy. You are 100%. At your best, who you taking? That's all we're saying.
Okay.
We're not, I've seen Amari
And the last 2
Stoudemire
years
on the
have shown
court.
when he's
Hold
on the court,
Hold on.
he hasn't been a top 7 player.
But listen, and he hasn't been healthy in 2 years. But he was on the court. He was healthy enough to play. But he hasn't been. We're just talking about if you're at your best, JJ Redick 100%, Amari Stoudemire 100%, Stephen A 100%. Guess what? I'm not in y'all class. We know this.
There's a notion
know
too
this.
saying that hey, someone at
change it.
85% can be better than half the league. So even though you're not 100% healthy, you're still playing even though you're not 100% healthy.
I'm just saying, and I'm saying, JJ, to make it simple, all the guys you mentioned, give me their absolute best. Give me Anthony Davis at his absolute best.
All right, let's do this.
He's top 7.
So now that we're kind of changing the debate for JJ here, since you guys are talking about when he's healthy and saying that he's top 7 when he's healthy.
I'm not
JJ's
changing
talking.
any
No,
debate.
I'm
saying when he's on the court, he's healthy because he doesn't play
But
hurt.
they're debating by different rules. So let's say when he's at his best, JJ, just play along with them for now.
Everybody at their best.
Just play along.
Everybody
when
at
he's
their best.
at his best, you're picking.
I'm not going to let you off the hook, Stephen A. I'm not going to let you off the hook.
JJ slick.
Lay off
JJ
the weed. I'm
slick.
taking your
He
thing. Lay
really
off the
is.
weed. I'm not going to let you off the hook.
Okay.
I know we're talking about Anthony Davis.
Okay.
You said Anthony Davis is better than Jokic, back-to-back MVP. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't think
Stephen A.
Anthony,
Come on.
I don't think Jokic.
Come on.
I don't think Jokic plays defense the way Anthony Davis can play defense. I don't believe that.
I can't with you today.
I don't believe
can't
that.
with you.
I don't
know
believe
if it's
that.
the
And by the
sleep.
way,
I don't know.
Luka ain't even in the conversation because that brother, when he starts playing defense, it'll be the first. It'll be the first
I
time.
have a feeling we'll be continuing this at some point, and I really just can't wait for that moment.
And I love
It's
Luka.
over right now, though. When we come back here on First Take, will the Warriors close things out in Boston Thursday, or does this series go 7? We're diving into the NBA Finals coming up. I tried to get